Could it be? With me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Wildcard Weekend Overtime. Continued coverage of the 2020 NFL playoffs here on the LouieTeeNetwork. Sunday got kicked off with a dandy. Enjoyed that one thoroughly as the 5th-seeded Baltimore Ravens go on the road and dispatch of the 4th-seeded Tennessee Titans 20-13 in a rematch of last year's divisional round matchup in which the Titans went to Baltimore and beat up the Baltimore Ravens 28-12. I talked about this in the breakdown. I said very clearly, all right, and I explained to you the thought process of the Tennessee Titans. When you get embarrassed the Baltimore Ravens, when you get embarrassed the way that they did last year at home, and that way 28-12 doesn't sound that bad, but it was bad. And they got embarrassed last year. And Derrick Henry ran wild on them last year. And they went into the offseason fuming. And they went into the offseason with one thought. We can't let that happen again. And if we see those boys again in the postseason, it'll be different next time. We promise. And so what did they go out and do? They went out and traded for Calais Campbell. They went out and signed Derek Wolfe. They went out and got Pernell McPhee. I think they brought him back. They also went out and they drafted Malik Harrison. And they shored up that front seven. They got stouter. They got more physical. And they said, that shit won't happen again. That won't fly in Baltimore. That's not how we roll. And I told you in the lead up to this game, in my prediction, I had the Ravens winning this game. And this was the reason why. King Henry, not happening today. Wasn't going to happen. If they were going to win this game, the Titans were going to have to do it on the right arm of Ryan Tannehill. And as you could see, it started out well. And it all looked good early when they got out to the 10-0 lead, but that didn't last very long, and we knew they were going to run them football. Baltimore, that is. And I told you, me and 10 other guys that played ball in high school with 2 weeks of practice could go out and put up 30 on this Titans defense. Well, they didn't have to put up 30 today because the Titans offensively weren't scoring themselves. I thought they would score more. I actually thought this game would be a little bit higher scoring than what it ultimately was. Got to credit the Titans defense because even though they got gutted on the ground by Lamar Jackson, okay, Lamar Jackson 136 yards rushing in this game, all right, even though they got gutted on the ground by Lamar Jackson, they didn't give up a bunch of points. They didn't give up the big plays. They did give up the big run to Lamar Jackson, but for the most part, they gave themselves a chance defensively, more so than I thought they would. So I have to give the Titans defensively their credit for keeping this game a lot closer than I thought they would be able to from the defensive side of the football. But this is a good matchup for the Titans because where they struggle is in the passing game. They struggle getting to the opposition's quarterback, and thus their secondary is left out to dry, and they give up big plays to wide receivers. So because the Ravens aren't built that way, this is a great matchup for them, which is why they were 2-0 previously against Lamar Jackson and this Ravens football team. Because it was a good matchup. Because Lamar doesn't throw to his receivers all that often, he likes to feature the tight ends over the middle of the football field. But in this game, Hollywood Brown, stepped up, over 100 yards receiving for him. It was a great day. 7 catches, 109 for Hollywood. And again, Lamar Jackson totaled for over 300 yards in this game, over 180 passing, another 130 rushing for the reigning NFL MVP. And this was a big game. You could tell it meant a lot to him. You know, that playoff monkey was on his back. It was getting heavy. He wanted to shed it. And he put his ego aside. And I'm not saying that Lamar's ever had an ego to where he doesn't want to run. But you could tell he was willing to risk it all today. He was willing to run. If he had to run it 23 times, he would have run it 23 times. Hell, he ran it 16 damn times in this game. And at least 14 of them were called, read option runs, where it was designed for him to run either read option or a called specific lead run for Lamar Jackson with blockers out in front. So he was determined. I'm going to get this thing done. I thought the microcosm of where he is in his career right now, and I still like the trajectory. I know some of you are down on Lamar Jackson. That's fine. I like the trajectory of Lamar Jackson's career. He still got work to do as a passer, but I thought that the microcosm of where he is in his career right now was that last possession. Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, decides Tennessee's got all 3 of their timeouts. We got a 15-yard penalty. And we're going to talk about that disrespect, that long-term disrespect that was activated late in this ball game. I tweeted that out. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But it's 1st and 10, and you've got an opportunity right outside of midfield after the 15-yard penalty backs you up, and you're right around your own 43 or so. And the Titans have all 3 of their timeouts. So, the prevailing thought here is, they're just going to run it and try to pick up this first down and force the Titans to use their timeouts. What does Greg Roman do? Play action fake. Has Lamar roll out to his right where he's more comfortable than actually standing in the pocket. And he's got a wide open Hollywood Brown, and he misses him. That's where he is right now. Not where you want him to be as a passer quite yet. He's getting there, but he's not quite there yet. You need to hit that. He was wide open. You need to hit that. He misses. So what do? They come back on the next play, and Lamar says, F all of that throwing shit. I'm going to run it myself. And he runs it, picks up about a good 30, slides, inbounds, and that pretty much was all she wrote right there. You could kind of see the writing on the wall. They still had some unfinished business, needed one more first down to make sure that the Titans didn't see the football again, and they were able to pick that up. But that to me is where he is right now. Not quite there as a passer, need to hit that throw, says, you know what, to hell with it, I'm going to do it with my legs. This defense for the Ravens, phenomenal. After a slow start, giving it up to Anthony Ferkser and A.J. Brown, they put the clamps down on this Titans offense. And the reason they were able to do that is because early in the game, the Titans came out and said, we're going to use your aggressiveness to want to go after Derrick Henry against you. And it worked to a T. But that's only going to work for so long before you actually need Derrick Henry to provide you with some actual production. And so you knew they were going to turn around and hand it to Derrick Henry. And this Ravens defense was ready. And they were ready to sink their teeth into this Titans run game. They were waiting. They were chomping at the bit. You could tell that the focus was on 22. He was not going to have a big day today. It just wasn't in the cards. They weren't going to allow it. And I knew that was their thought process coming into this game. That was their thought process all offseason. Is that we're not going to allow Derrick Henry to do this to us again. It's fine if he does it in the regular season. He wasn't going to do it in this game. And they didn't allow it. And 18 carries, 40 yards. Okay? Barely over 2 yards a pop. At this point, you're going to have to rely on Ryan Tannehill. Well, a lot of what Ryan Tannehill does is predicated off of play action fake. Teams having to respect Derrick Henry. The Ravens simply didn't have to do that after the defense shut him down and turned that faucet completely off. It was now on Ryan Tannehill. And look, this is the second straight game Corey Davis has been a non-participant, a no-show. I don't know if anything's wrong with him. I heard that in the Week 17 game, he had just had a baby. The week of that game, maybe his focus wasn't on the game. Okay, I don't know what's the excuse this week, but he was a non-participant again. No catches in this game. I don't know if he had any catches. I think he did have 2 catches last week in Week 17 when they had to have it to clinch the division. Bottom line is, I don't know what that does for his long-term prospects in Tennessee. I'm still saying, hey, over here, Corey. Woo-hoo, we'll take you. If they don't want you, we'll take you. But I can tell you that his non-participation in this game hurt because you can't be throwing the Khalif Raymond with the game on the line. You don't have to call. It's okay, girl. I already said you can't be throwing the Khalif Raymond with the game on the line, man. Can't be throwing to Batson with the game on the line. All right, so and the Ravens already showed you. If we see A.J. Brown 20 yards down the field, we send his safety help his way. Don't worry about it. Somebody else is going to have to get us. So they had a plan. They executed, and they made the plays necessary. This felt, and I tweeted this out, this felt like 1999 all over again. It felt like we turned the clock back to like 2000. The Tennessee Titans featuring Eddie George and Steve Air McNair and Frank Wycheck up against, Ray Lewis and that Baltimore Ravens ferocious front, with all of those guys on that defensive line and those linebackers and Peter Boulware and Tony Saragusa and all of those guys that they had. It felt like that. That's what it felt like in the moment. Chris McAllister and all those guys. That's what it felt like today. Felt like one of those types of games. Rod Woodson and company. This felt good, man. This was a fun game to watch. I enjoyed this thoroughly. If you're the Titans, you're disappointed because you knew what the Ravens were going to try to do. You knew what you had to do to combat that. You came out with a great game plan and you executed it to a T. But when it's all said and done, you needed to score points in this game. And I thought that key possession when you were up 7-0 and you drove it right down the field and you had a chance to get in the end zone again and make it 14-0 and really put the pressure on Baltimore. They really don't want to be behind 14 points in any given game, let alone a playoff game. Then Lamar starts pressing. He had already thrown an interception. You want Lamar pressing. You want Lamar feeling like the weight of the world is on his shoulders and he's got to go out and will this team to a victory. You settled for a field goal and made it 10-0, and I felt like you left the door slightly ajar. You really did. You left that door slightly ajar. You could have shut that door nice and closed. Might have even been able to lock it up at that point. But you left it open. And it gave the Ravens confidence, and from that point forward, they were able to muster up some points. They got a field goal. They got back into the game. They got to settle down. 14-3, you still feel uncomfortable. 10-3, now you know a touchdown ties us the ball game up. So it's a different world you're living in when you can go up 14-0. You didn't do that. And from that point on, the Ravens really, really ratcheted up the defensive intensity. They got to Tannehill on a number of occasions. And again, they took away AJ already wasn't healthy coming into the game. You could see it. Even after one of the big catches early, he was flexing his hand, and then he had another catch later in the game where he's limping off the field. He wasn't right. He needed Corey Davis to step up, and he wasn't available for whatever reason. So it's disappointing from an offensive standpoint because you already knew coming into the game your defense wasn't worth a damn. And it's amazing because it actually was a role reversal. The defense said, hey, we did our part. They scored 20. Now, yeah, Justin Tucker missed a field goal. Should have been 23. They got down there at the end of the game again. They would have scored if they needed to, but that's nor here nor there. They scored 20 points. How many times this season would 20 points have been enough to win you games if you're Tennessee? You would have won every game this season more likely than not if you held the defense, if the defense held the other team's offense to 20 points. So they were expecting more help from the offense, and they just didn't get it today. So the defense did their part, but again, third downs have been the story for this Tennessee Titans defense. You saw the stat. 51% on third downs is what teams are converting at this season against this Titans. Easily the worst in the league this season. All right? So as I talked about with this defense, it's a problem. And the Ravens had success. Let's go look at the Ravens' third down off numbers in this game. The Ravens were 7 of 13. So we talked about 51%. That's over 50%, okay? Over the 51 they were giving up this season. That's right around 56% or so. So, again, you see where this is trending, all right? The Ravens did what everyone else in football has done against the Titans this year, and that's convert on third downs. Meanwhile, the Titans didn't have a third down conversion rushing the football until Ryan Tannehill ran a quarterback sneak. I want to say that might have even been a fourth down. Don't get me the line. Let me check. No, that was a fourth down. That was a fourth down quarterback sneak. I don't think they converted a single third down rushing the football in this game, if I'm not mistaken. So it was a struggle for them, and the things that they wanted to establish offensively, they weren't able to. And it is always, and that's the problem in today's NFL. And we talk about this all the time. And everyone's still in love with the nostalgia of yesteryear. Running the football and being a physical and tough team and being able to play tough, hard-nosed defense and run the football. Those days are over. The hard-nosed defense will never die. If you can play that, you'll have a chance. But you better be able to throw the damn football in this league. Because if you can't, and not saying that the Titans can't, but they're so heavily reliant on their rushing attack because everything feeds off of that. If that gets stymied, their offense loses a lot of its luster. When a team saddles up and says, this isn't happening today, you got plan B lined up because you're going to need that, and you don't have plan B ready to go, this is what can happen to you. A Titans offense that probably was averaging up around 27, 28, maybe even 29 points a game this season. They could score with the best of them. Reduced to 13 points. I'm not surprised because I knew Derrick Henry was going to be muzzled in this game. The Titans simply weren't going to be able to run football. The Ravens weren't going to have it. That's why I was confident in Baltimore winning this football game. And they got it done. Big play. Oh, let me talk about the disrespect first before we get to the comment section. Man, big play by Marcus Peters. He pretty much ran over Khalif Raymond and knocked him down. But, I mean, that's the football gods evening the playing field because that was definitely OPI in the end zone on A.J. Brown on the first touchdown of the game. There's no way that the official should have been standing right there. Watch this man give out a straight forearm to knock down Marlon Humphrey and catch the football. I mean, he even got up on his knees and looked around like, hey, y'all gonna flag me? No? Let's go. Touchdown. He was waiting on that flag. He knew what he had done. And he got away with it. So when Marcus Peters essentially runs over Khalif Raymond and takes the ball, you can't say much. Can't say much. It's just the football gods evening the playing field. Anyway, he gets the interception, and we remember the controversy from the last time that the Ravens felt like the Titans disrespected the logo the last time around, and there was a little bit of bad blood. It seemed like that was brewing between the coaching staffs. Whatever the case may be, there was no bad blood or ill will between the coaches, but I can tell you, this has been a rivalry. I don't think a lot of people really understand. That's why I said this gave me 1999, 2000, 2001 vibes. These teams used to play every year in the postseason. These teams used to go at it. Baltimore Ravens, Tennessee Titans. When the Titans were really good in the late 90s, early 2000s, and the Ravens were at their apex, these two teams used to bump heads. They were among the best the AFC had to offer in those days. And you know, that was before Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts they were on the come at that point. They weren't there yet. So these were the two powerhouses. The Titans went to a Super Bowl and lost to the Rams. The Ravens went to the Super Bowl and beat the Giants. So those two were two of the better teams, and they would lock horns. This is a rivalry. And what the Titans did to the Ravens last year in the playoffs, that kind of rekindled this flickering flame, so to speak. And then they beat them again in the regular season, in overtime, in a thrilling game. The disrespect that Baltimore Ravens felt with the Titan players on the logo, some shit started then. But man, it doesn't get more petty in the league than Marcus Peters. I love it. He's the petty king. And so he gets the interception. He spins the ball on the damn logo. He starts dancing on the logo. Then you got players with no helmet like Levine coming onto the field, and they scratching up the logo. And I'm like, oh really? That's how y'all feel? So we're gonna take the team photo on the logo, and we're gonna start digging up turf. Okay, all right. Long-term disrespect and bad blood activated. So this should be a rivalry now. This is the thing now. These Titan players won't forget that. They're not going to forget that. This is going to get really, really interesting. I'm here for all of it, though. I'm here for all of it. So the next time these two teams play, I'm here for it. Put it on a Monday night so we can all watch it. I'm here for it. This is a fun game. Anyway, let's get to the comment section. I got a super chat here from Craig Smith. Thank you for the super chat. Craig Smith, who writes, Marcus Peters is that friend you love who you would do anything for, but when y'all go out, you got to wear some comfortable clothes because you're fighting somebody. Exactly. He's the dude that I really don't want to go to the club with. You want him, if some shit goes down, you want Marcus Peters with you because he's in front of you. He's not behind you. He ain't got your back. He in front of you ready to throw down. So that's the dude you want with you when some shit goes down. But you like, if I'm just trying to go out and have a good time and I don't want no drama, he need to stay his ass home. Because once he gets a couple of drinks, he's going to do some flagrant shit. And then I'm going to have to get into some shit because that's my boy. So you already know what type of friend. We all got one of those. You already know who Marcus Peters is. And unfortunately, the Titans had to find that out the hard way in this football game. That's a great analogy, Craig. Thank you for that super chat. Got some more comments. We got time because this game moved so quickly because the Titans insistence on running the football, and ditto for the Ravens. That game moved so quick. We got time to get through these comments, so let's do that. So we start with Rich, who says the Ravens defense was just getting tired. Give Derrick Henry 4 more runs, and he busts a big one. It wasn't happening, bro. They weren't wearing down. It wasn't going to happen today. And yeah, if he would have gotten 25 carries, there might have been a 15 or 17 or 20 in there somewhere. But this wasn't going to be the day. This just wasn't it. He had that one carry that he bust for 8 yards, which was his longest run of the day. And they made a great tackle because if he didn't make that tackle, that might have been a 30, 40-yard run. But outside of that, no daylight, no space for this man in this game. They weren't having it. They just were not having it. JP, thank you for the thank you for the comment. JP says Lamar finally got it done in the postseason and got their revenge. That's a double dandy right there. It is. Indeed, it is. And if you're out there, I want to right now implore you to subscribe to the Louie T Network. Hit that notification bell if you haven't already done that. So subscribe first for more great content because we're going to keep the hits coming. All right, it doesn't stop. Draft coverage is coming too. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you want your comment read and you're in the comment section, use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read on the air. Also, hit that notification bell because you never know when I'm going live, and I don't want you to miss anything. And if you're out there, it's 200 of y'all watching right now, only 42 likes. Let's get those likes up. All right, hit the like button if you don't mind. Thank you very much. Reese says, didn't get a chance to talk with you yesterday. Good game, my friend. You have no reason to be down, though. You gave us everything we wanted and some more. Oh, yeah, no one was down after the game. We got exactly what we thought we were going to get. The GOAT, we asked for him. We got him. And unfortunately, we could not handle what we got. And we are really thankful for Chris Godwin's contribution to the close game because if he caught the football yesterday, you might have had 40 on us yesterday. JCamman99 says, no class at the end. Didn't shake hands with the Titans. Not cool by Lamar Jackson. Hey, they not friends. Not friends. This isn't Pop Warner. We don't have to shake hands. This isn't a college basketball game. You can't make me shake the hand of my opponent. We need more of this in the league. It's too much of this friendly competition, swapping jerseys. I don't like you. It's okay to not like your opposition. It's okay to have bad blood. I don't like them. They don't like us. And that's okay too. It's cool to have friends around the league and you chop it up with them after the game. That's cool. But you don't have to be everybody's friend. He won his first postseason game against the team that knocked him out of the playoffs last year. They beat him earlier this year. They disrespected their logo in Baltimore. You know, shaking hands. We ain't friends. I love it. And the Titans won't forget this. That's why I said long-term disrespect and bad blood activated. I love it. Doesn't always have to be divisional foes and family members that don't like each other. Let's start getting some intra-conference rivalries going. Let's do that. I'm all for it. I'm here for it. Reese says, Lamar is undefeated since leaving the Steelers game to drop a deuce. That was not the Steelers game. That was the Browns game. And I'm going to tell you right now, we knew he was going, I told you guys they were going to run the table. And I said, when they get in, they're going to be dangerous. And I'm just telling you right now, they're dangerous. And if I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm Buffalo, I want no parts of this team. None. I am praying that the Browns beat the Steelers if I'm the Chiefs. Because I don't want to see these boys until I have to. And if I'm the Buffalo Bills, I'm like, excuse me, please, Pittsburgh, beat the Browns because I want you again. I don't want this Ravens team because they're the antithesis of everything the Bills are. They're not looking to throw it a bunch. They're looking to shorten the game. Look how short today's game was. This game was 2 hours and 45 or 50 minutes. They're going to shorten the game. They're going to run the ball with Lamar Jackson. They're going to run the football with J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. And they're gonna beat up your run game. And they're going to come after Josh Allen. They're going to come after him. They're going to be physical with their receivers. That's not a good matchup for Buffalo. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. JCamMan99 says, Lamar Jackson also talked back to Lisa Salters. Come on, really not cool. I didn't see the entire interview. I saw the first portion of it. Seemed like a normal interview to me. Talked back? Is Lisa Salters his mom or something? Like, what do you mean he talked back to Lisa Salters? Did she reprimand him? Again, what are we talking about here? Reese says, I have failed to recognize how great Brady is, Lou. Time after time, he proved everyone wrong. Unreal. Since he's been my quarterback, I've come to realize just how amazing he is. He's not the GOAT for no reason. All right. We didn't just anoint him the GOAT just because he's been playing the longest of any quarterback pretty much in NFL history. No, he's actually that good. Jonathan Hankey says, I'm happy for Lamar getting his first playoff win. I am too. Niners fan says, Lou, I'm convinced that if we upgrade the quarterback position, we are winning the NFC West next year. We own the Rams and the Seahawks are frauds. We'll see. Long ways away from that, but we will see. Jonathan Hankey says, hope we see Chiefs and Ravens play next week. I actually want to see them play the Bills. I want to see if the Bills truly feel like they're ready, they need this test of Baltimore. They need this test. I need to see them pass this test. They really think they're ready for Kansas City. And I know it's two different teams, and it's not the same. I just want to see how ready you are for the show. Because the Ravens have taken their lumps. They're ready. They're ready. The Bills have not. They took some lumps last year. They just won. I want to see how they handle a Baltimore Ravens team that's hot right now. Just as hot as they are. I'd like to see that. Niners fan says, I don't think Ravens are going to win playing this way against the Chiefs or Bills. I disagree. Vehemently disagree. I think this is the exact way you have to play to beat both of those teams. Exact way. You're not going to beat either one of those teams in a shootout. You don't want to get into a 34-31 shootout with either one of those operations. You get smoked. You shorten the game, you hit their quarterback, you smother their run game, and you force their quarterback to have to beat you single-handedly. The Chiefs are more equipped to do it with Mahomes than the Bills are with Allen. Okay? I think this is the perfect formula for the Bills especially. So, I disagree with you. Jonathan Hankey says, also, karma is a bitch, ain't it? LOL. It is. I tell people that all the time. Be careful. Karma. Karma never forgets, and it's never easy. Okay? It's swift, too. JP, Henry and Davis were both complete non-factors. Henry will definitely be there for the long term, but can't say the same for Davis. We'll definitely take him in Washington. Look, he wasn't great last week, and he was, again, invisible today. That still doesn't deter me from wanting him. He's better than anything I have as a number 2 option on my football team. So I'd take him in a hurry. And I'd even, I'd use this against him. Hey, knock off a mil or two per year for these last couple of weeks. Where were you when they needed you in the week 17 and Wildcard weekend matchup? Where were you? It's all good. I still want him. I've always said, somebody's always eyeballing your stuff. So don't ever think, oh, we should be able to get him on a discount because of this or because of that. No, that's not correct. Somebody out there doesn't have what you have that you're taking for granted, and they will take that person off your hands gladly. Trust me. I've seen it done. Reese says, what had AB shown you this season, Lou? Is he AB or is he Antonio? I think it took him a bit, but he's beginning to look like AB, if you ask me. He's still Antonio. He's getting there, but he's not there. He's still Antonio right now. RG3 hashtag says, they should have hit A.J. Brown more. He was banged up, man. He was gutting it out. He gave him everything he had. He really did. Devin Nicholson says, I'm sad that Washington football team lost. Well, we knew that it was more likely than not the ride was coming to an end Saturday night. I had about 8 glasses of Green Goblin last night to drink away my sorrows, and I was good. I didn't go to bed till about 4:45, but I was good after that. I just needed closure. I was able to provide that for myself last night. Pac-Man D3 says, the announcers said Tennessee didn't have a single rushing first down all day. That's crazy to think since they have King Henry. That's a testament to this Ravens rush defense. Also, though, that's a testament to the Ravens rush defense and just defense in general on first and second downs. Because think about the game and run the game back through your mind. How many times were the Titans in 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3? How many times were they in really rushing situations, in real rush situations to convert a first down, a third down into a first down? Not many. You know, there weren't many 8-yard gains on first down that set you up with the 2nd and 2 that you can run and pick up. I can't think of many. I think maybe 2 or 3 at most where they were in positions to run for a first down and the Ravens still shut them down. Got to give credit to the Ravens defense. Got a super chat here from Silver V. Greatly appreciate you, Silver V, who writes, when the Titans didn't go for it after they missed the kick by Tucker, I knew they were doomed. I'm trying to think to how big of a fourth down that was. Because, from a field position standpoint, they could have rolled the dice. I thought the decision to punt it was the right one. Because they ended up down in that punt inside the 10, and it forced Lamar Jackson and company to have to move it, out of their own shadow of their own end zone. But they did it. They did it with relative ease at that. I think that was the possession where Hollywood Brown catches the hitch, the comeback, and then goes down the sidelines and ends up getting like 25 or 30 yards and really put them in a position to be comfortable. I'm trying to think, what was that, like a 4th and 6 maybe? I felt like it was a reason that they punted that football, like it was 4th and 8 or 9. Like you don't go for it in that situation. But if it was like 4th and 4, 4th and 3, then yeah, you could go for it. I don't think it was I can look it up. I don't even have to guess. I'll look it up real quick and see what that down and distance was at that juncture of the game. Let's see what it was. It was 4th and 2. Yeah, they could have went for that. They should have went for that. 4th and 2 from the Baltimore 40. You got to go for that. I felt like in the moment it was the right decision, but looking back on that, because it didn't dawn on me until the announcers came back and Steve Levy said, and let me also state this, and let me point this out. I don't know about y'all, and maybe I'm becoming a little bit more sensitive to this because there have been no fans in the stands all season. So now my ears are somewhat, my ears aren't as trained as they once were. Did that 14,000 that they had at the game, did that shit not sound like 65,000 to you? Because it sounded loud as shit to me. And I get it. We haven't had fans in the stands in most of these facilities. The Titans have had fans for much of the season this year. The Browns have had fans a lot of the year. All the Florida teams have had fans a lot of the year. But for the most part, most of these NFL franchises have not had fans in the stands. So when you have them, even the Buffalo fans that were there, the 6,000, the 6,500 or whatever it was that was at the Buffalo game, they sounded loud, but they didn't sound like the 14,000 the Titans had. They sounded loud. And when they came back from commercial break after the punt, Steve Levy said these 14,000 fans were booing. He said it felt good to hear a boo. And that's when it dawned on me. Maybe they should have went for it. He said, and it wasn't until he said that, and he said, after a 25-yard punt, I said, that's all it was? 25 yards? Well, that's why I was only 25 yards, because they were at the Baltimore 40. They should have gone for it. You're 110% spot on, Silver V. Scared money don't make money. We're in the playoffs. You got to roll the dice there. 4th and 2, you got to be able to convert that. I'm with you. Let's see. Here we go, right here. JP says, Ravens and Titans going to be a great postseason rivalry for years to come. We'll see. I know the blood is there. The bad blood is there now. Again, long-term disrespect activated. So we'll see what happens. Jonathan Hankey says, you are right, Louie. I smell a rivalry brewing. Tell you what, man. It used to be a rivalry, and I told you it was flickering. That win against the Titans, the Ravens last year on the road, I thought it kind of rekindled it a bit. The regular season matchup really started to get that thing going. They poured gasoline on it, and now it's a full raging rivalry, it feels like to me now. Henny Knight says, in a lower tone, the champs are here. The champs are here. Go on. Angel Bautista Perez. Hey, are you going to watch the Knick broadcast? I'm going to leave that for the little ones, man. It's funny, my girl, we were watching the game just now, and she's like, they're putting that game on Knick? And I'm like, they're trying to appeal to a younger audience. The NFL's a smart machine. They understand that they want to get these young kids involved from an early age. So, you know, I heard yesterday, Iron Eagle read a promo, and he said they're going to have on the telecast SpongeBob football pants. I said, are you kidding me? You really expect me to turn it to Knick for SpongeBob football pants? But it's not for me. They're not doing this for me. They're not doing it for you. They're doing it for the 8-year-old. They're doing it for the 7-year-old that's just being exposed to football. They're doing it for the kids that haven't really taken to the game. And this is, if they can find a way to get them in, they want to get them in. So I ain't mad at them. I ain't glad at them either. We'll see how it works. I think it's going to be an epic fail, but whatever. They got the money. They can do that. Jonathan Hankey says, as a Colts fan, nothing brings me more joy than the Titans losing in the wild card. LOL. Nothing like a little bit of family hate. Hate. Little Kid Collector says, Queen Henry got 40 yards. Ouch. Not Queen. The man rushed for 2,000 yards. Show a little bit of respect. Come on, man. Ouch. That hurt. Ouch. Lil Gilly. Derek Wolfe and Calais Campbell were locking Henry up. Like I said, that's why they went out and got those guys. Specifically with this game in mind. You know how teams go up and they load up to stop teams in their division? That's how it works. You usually go out and you draft players and you acquire players in free agency to fit your scheme, but also to help combat the best team in your division, the team that you're chasing after. If you're the Raiders or you're the Chargers or you're the Broncos, you see why they did the things that they did. The Raiders went out and got Henry Ruggs. Why? Because they look at the Chiefs and they say, we got to be able to score. And what did they do? They went to Kansas City and put up 40 and beat them this season. The only team to do that this year, to beat the Chiefs in a game that the Chiefs were actually trying to win, were the Raiders. Why? Because they were able to outscore them with Waller and Henry Ruggs and Nelson Aguilar. They went and made every single move with the Chiefs in mind. What did the Broncos do in the draft? They went and got speed on top of speed on top of speed. Albert O, speedster at the tight end position. KJ Hamler, speedster at the wide receiver position. Jerry Jeudy, speedster at the wide receiver position. Why? Because they want to look like the Chiefs to be able to outscore the Chiefs. Same thing with the Chargers. They went in the opposite direction. Everybody wants to load up on offense. We're going to load up on defense and get a bunch of speed on defense to try to combat the Chiefs or the Chiefs' offensive speed. Every move that is made generally in a division is to catch the team that's beating everybody else. Well, the Ravens said, to hell with the Steelers, to hell with the Browns and the Bengals. We want to make sure that we can beat the Titans if we see them again. And they did. Kudos to them for getting that right. Let's see. Got another comment here. Juan Gotti talking sports. Aha! So that was how Scott Turner's offense is supposed to look when it's ran. He said supposed to be ran. It was a great game outside of that 2-point conversion of Logan Thomas that could have changed the game. Like I said, when you have a guy back there that understands where the ball is supposed to go, gets through his progressions quickly. I've been talking about this with the film all year long. There's a lot of meat being left on the bone. There was no meat left on the bone in the game on Sunday night or Saturday night. And you saw a guy that was comfortable in that scheme. Amel O'Neill says, Bears fan, you are great. Wish you were regular Bears talk. I mean, I talk a lot of Bears, but I know what you're saying. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much for that comment. Stephen Taylor, it was nothing. It was nothing, Stephen says. She started talking about being Lamar versus Henry, and he was like, nah, it was Ravens versus Titans, and praised Henry. Yeah, you know, I didn't think it, like, Lamar isn't a disrespectful dude. His mama ain't raised him that way. So I didn't think it would be anything out of pocket. And I liked it. It's not me against Derrick Henry. It's the Ravens against the Titans. I like that. Henny Knight says, damn the kids, my joint rolled and I'm watching that SpongeBob stream. I can't with you, Henny. All I can do is say cheers, man. Cheers. If you already rolled up, I ain't gonna stop you. Hope you got all your snacks and all the things you need to make yourself comfortable. Enjoy, man. I'll let you do that one for me. Craig Smith says, respectfully, I'm not enthused about watching young Mitch Biscuits for the next 3 hours. Prove me wrong, kid. You know, that's my guy. We'll see what happens. See what happens. Brian Horst says, what do you think Dax is worth per year? It's not what I think he's worth. It's what he's going to get, what he's going to command. Dak Prescott is going to command $40 million a year, whether you like it or you don't like it. So that's just how it goes. You know how the game goes. Henny Knight says, they got Nate Burleson on the SpongeBob stream. Well, I was telling my girl that they were putting Nate Burleson on the stream, and that's how they're going to try to, you know, reel in some of the football fans. But I don't think some of y'all know this, but Nate Burleson does, like, Entertainment Tonight and all. Like, Nate's everywhere. He's got his hand all over the place. So it's not shocking that Nate's doing that stream at all. Juan Gotti Talking Sports says, I'm watching the Nickelodeon version. It's so cringy. Just turn to it for 2 seconds, Lou, for a quick laugh. I can't do it. My eyes will not be able to unsee that. If I turn it there for just 2 seconds, my eyes will not be able to unsee the carnage that they are doing. I mean, I know they are doing a number on this beautiful game that we love so much. Irreparable damage is being done. I won't allow it. Not these eyes. Not these eyes. I can't allow it. Mike Lowry says, Watson to Miami rumors. Heard him. That's some podcast talk. But I heard it. Bentley Godwin says, what position did you play back when you played football? Wide receiver and cornerback. But I was really a wide receiver. I didn't really want to be cornerback. I didn't want to hit anybody. I wanted to catch the football. That was my thing. And it's 4:40. Game's on now, so I'm going to go ahead and glide to the side. I appreciate you guys for chopping it up with me. Once again, if you haven't already done so, go ahead, subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content. Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And also, if you haven't hit the like button already, please, on your way out, do so. 76 likes right now. It's 150 of you in the chat. I'd love for you guys to get this thing up to 100, if at all possible. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get myself nice and comfortable for Bears at Saints. See if these two teams can recreate the magic from the regular season game in which the Saints won in overtime. Will it be that competitive? Will it be that close? We'll see. I think the Bears have a shot. But as my man Craig eloquently said, Mitch Biscuits. His mama named him Mitchell. I'm going to call him Mitchell. He's going to have a shot. Let's see if he can get it done or not. I'll be back at the conclusion of Bears and Saints to break it all down. Hopefully you will be here as well. Until then, I'm your man Louie T. You guys, have a good one.